Hi, my name is Samantha, and today I'm going to be presenting my presenting self, perceived self, and desired self midterm project that we did. So this side, the front side, represents my presenting self because these are the attributes that people see most commonly in me. And I guess I'll just start from the top. So the top one up here, that's a picture of my family. And so on top of it, I wrote, I am a family. And then the next one is I took an art class summer quarter and I never thought I'd be able to make a self-portrait, but I did. And so I wrote, I am a student. And some of these words are ones that I see myself as, but others of them are ones that Jamie and Joseph, my sister and my boyfriend, came up for me when they were writing the sheet for the midterm essay. For example, my sister wrote that I am creative, so I included this picture of her and I on the night that we did paintings to decorate my apartment. They both wrote that I'm a musician, and so there is my part of my, because the picture is covered, my sax quartet that went to state senior year of high school. I am a girlfriend, and that's me and Joseph. And then I also put one of Vivian, because I am a friend. Then there's a fry box on here because I am a shift manager. And so these are just the basic things that people think when they see me or when people mention me. They're like, oh, is that the girl in band in high school? Or is that Joseph's girlfriend? Or that kind of thing. So when people look at this is my presenting self. This is what everybody sees. No matter if you're close to me or not. I think have all these pictures are on Instagram anyway, so people can see them. So the inside is a little different because the inside represents my perceived self. And in order to organize everything that I feel like is inside of me, I made these handy dandy little envelopes. And so in some of them, I did a feelings one because a lot of people don't really know the feelings that I have, even though I know them. And so I wrote a bunch of adjectives like I think I can be interesting. Or I can be kind. A lot of times I feel alone. Sometimes I think I'm funny. And a lot of people don't know this, but for a while I've struggled with depression. So there's a lot of positive and a lot of negative ones. I think insecure is in here, and smart is in here, and dumb is also in here. So what's funny is that a lot of these words actually contradict each other. So that's one of them. Another thing that's influenced me and who I am is somebody who I talked about in my extra credit, but his name was Justin. He was my first love, and he was my best friend. And we broke up, and right after we broke up, he shortly committed suicide after. And so I put some photos, this was his headstone right after he died. And there's just a few pictures of us that I printed out. Because he's always in my heart, and he definitely affects who I am today. A few others that I have in here are old friends, because my old friends definitely affect who I am today, and these are people who I don't necessarily talk to anymore, but who are still close in my heart. And then I have, I labeled this one Peaceful Bliss because nature is one of my absolute favorite things, favorite. It just makes me feel so close to the beautiful world that God gave us, and I can't describe the way that nature makes me feel, so I put that on there. And the last one is favorite memories, and this is just a bunch of my favorite pictures of my favorite adventures that I've gone on, or pictures I've taken and things I've done and people I've hung out with. So that's all in my perceived self because that's all things that I know about me, but not necessarily everybody knows about me. And the last section is the perceived one, and not perceived, I mean desired. So, and something I found interesting with this is I had a really hard time trying to figure out what I was gonna put on here. But the number one thing I put on there is I broke down all of my obligations, which is I work 40 hours, I'm taking 4 classes this quarter, and Cascadia has about 15 hours of homework per class, plus the 10 hours that I'm in class a week. And so after that, plus driving time, plus church and volunteering I volunteer in a 4th grade classroom once a week. That comes down to 168 hours of obligations, 119 hours of obligations and 168 hours in a week, which leaves only 49 hours for sleeping, eating, socializing, and living. So I thought that was really interesting because people don't understand really how busy I am with everything that I do. A few others is that I'm really sentimental, and so on these, like, I wrote, like, I am sentimental, and then I wrote, I am heartbroken, and back to sentimental, like, I take a lot of pictures because I realize that pictures can be all we have. And then I wrote, I am homesick because I got my own apartment, and, like, that's great, but it's really hard being away from my parents and my family. And then I wrote, I'm not the same person anymore because this picture was taken now 4 years ago. And so I'm definitely not that person. Sometimes that's really hard to admit that, like, I'm changing and, like, people around me are changing and people don't know that. And so, yeah, that's the extent of my presenting desired and perceived self-presentation. I think more than you guys have just learned right now watching this, I've learned more about myself than I've ever known. So thanks for watching.